We have about an 18-hour period, waiting period. So, what do you think? Is this something you can wait? You know, you have a baby. I'm not sure I can advise you to wait. Alone inside a crowd, 'cause I can't see you anywhere. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl on my everyday C. Thanks for clicking on this video. Thanks for joining in. As always, today I want to share my experience with the healthcare system in Canada. Guys, I've had a lot of experience when it comes to Canadian or Canada healthcare, and I thought to just share my own experience and give my thoughts about it. So if this is something you're interested in, sit back, relax, and let's get straight to this video. Now, I want to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. Anyways, that's how I'm going to title this video. But like in actual sense, I'll be sharing my good, my not so good, and my bad experience. And I'm just going to give my thoughts, and that's pretty much it. So before I go ahead to share, I'm going to start from the bad, and I'm going to go down to the good, or go up to the good. That makes much sense. So before I go on, I just want you to, just for people who are not in Canada, probably people who are in Nigeria, because I'm from Nigeria and I know how the health system is in Nigeria. So I want to just let you see the difference. So back in Nigeria, what I'm used to is most hospitals or clinics that I know, they run 24/7. Most. I would say there are just a few that don't run 24/7. Maybe they like do the office hours, but I would say most, both the private and the public or the government hospitals, they run 24/7. And that means whenever you go to the hospital in the middle of the night, anytime, there should be somebody available to take care of you, to care for you, to give you the attention or the care that you need. Whether they do that or not, it's another story entirely, and it varies according to the hospital you go to and according to the individual that you are. So that's not what I want to talk about here. Now, in comparing that to the hospitals or the healthcare system here in Canada, I would say I'm going to categorize them into two categories. Now, the very first category is the clinics that work where the doctors or that open during the normal office hours, 9 to 5 kind of office hours. So some of them open at 8, 8:30, 9. I think 9 is the last time that a lot of these clinics open, and they close around like maybe 4, 4:35, depending. And so that means you can't find them. You can't go to a clinic after their closing hours and you find anybody to assist you. You wouldn't find, because they've gone home, they've closed. But during their working hours, you should be able to walk in if it's a walk-in clinic and they are not filled, because some of them are walk-in clinics but they are fully booked for the day. Or you book an appointment and you go see your doctor, your family doctor. So that's that for the first category. Now in the second category, I'm going to kind of categorize different sectors sort of under one category, which is when we're talking about the emergency, the urgent care, the child emergency or the children's clinic, and the maternity clinic. So these are clinics that run 247, and when you hear their names, as their name implies, you should know that they have to run 247, because if a child has an emergency or has any health problem, there need to be like the availability of the medical practitioners to care for them. And for emergency as well, it's emergency, so they need to have the 247 services. And same goes to maternity. You can't joke with that. So that's the other category. This is just for me to kind of make you have a bit of perspective of what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the system or my experience. Now I want to share my experience and give my opinion, like I said. So this is just a personal take to what the healthcare system is like. So I'm going to start from the bad experience. And so there was a day when I was not feeling fine. I had a very serious tummy ache. It just started suddenly in the middle of the night. I was just busy doing my normal mommy duties, and suddenly I started feeling sharp pains, and it didn't stop. I was like, oh, it's gonna stop, but it didn't stop at all. Like, I waited for 10 minutes, for 15, 20, 30 minutes. It was like getting worse. So I had to wake my husband up, and I told him how I was feeling, and he saw that it was, there's a way you can even explain how you're feeling, but it's one thing when you can explain how you're feeling. It's another thing when you're struggling to even speak, you're struggling to sit up, you're struggling to lie down. It was really bad. Now this is after I'd given birth to Semiha. She was about like about a little over 6 weeks old. So he was like, what do I think? Should he call the emergency, like 911, or should he just take me to the hospital? And I was like, I don't know how long I'm going to have to wait, because I've already waited about 30 minutes. The pains was really scary. So I was like, I don't think I can wait for the ambulance to get here. Let's just go to the hospital. Like, it's more or less like being in labor and just managing to go to the hospital with the pain. So I decided to just manage, and he took me to the hospital. Sekina was sleeping at times, so I just left her, but I had to go with Semiha because she's still a baby and she was going to need my care. So I just managed to carry her. Guys, it wasn't a joke, it wasn't funny at all. It was a very excruciating pain that I was feeling. So on our way to the hospital, I was just praying, my prayers, Mosebila Yasararu, and suddenly the pain just stopped. It stopped suddenly, just as it started suddenly. I had to tell her that I'm not feeling it anymore. And he was like, okay, should we go? Should we still go? I'm like, I think we should still go, because you never can tell. Anything can happen, and it would be nice to kind of talk to your doctor. Maybe they'll run some tests for me or just check me. I just gave birth. So my intention was to go to the maternity clinic that I gave birth to, Semiha, because they told me that I had like a 6 weeks postpartum window to go see them if I have any medical problems or any questions or any checkups that I need to do. So I felt, oh, it's just a little over 6 weeks. So I would be glad if they can attend to me, because I've had an experience with them, and they don't have crowd. So I know that I would definitely get someone to attend to me. So I got there, I dropped my card, my health card, and I was already given a tag. I was already happy that, oh, these people are going to attend to me. They didn't even have anybody at that point in time, like no patient, nobody, at least at that reception. So the guy that I gave my card to went to show the nurse, which is the normal thing they do, and she checked the information she needed to check, and she got back to him, and I was like eavesdropping. I was seeing what they were saying, but I wasn't sure, and I was hoping it was not what I was thinking. Then he called me and told me that unfortunately they will not be able to attend to me because I had passed the time frame that was given for me to be able to come. So I should go to the emergency hospital. Though it was across the building, it wasn't that far. But I was just happy because I've heard a lot about the triad, the emergency, and I knew that it's either I would have to wait a couple of hours. I just felt that I won't get the um care that I needed, especially knowing that I'm no longer feeling the pain. But I have to still keep the faith alive. So I went there, and when I got there, look, I went with my baby. So I carried my baby while hubby went to park. I used the baby carrier to carry her, and I went to see. So one of the people at the front desk called me, maybe because she saw me with my baby, and she was like, "Okay, what do I need? What's the problem?" And I explained to her, and she was like, we have about an 18-hour period, waiting period. So, what do you think? Is this something you can wait? You have a baby. I'm not sure I can advise you to wait. Why not go to urgent care? I think urgent care has less burden, I think, compared to the emergency. So they probably will have less waiting period. I wasn't even asked for my card. She just said that, and I left. Now, before I went to the urgent care, I just wanted to state something that I've heard a lot of things about the emergency, that they will attend to you, they won't care for you. There's It's always so filled with people. Some people, pass away just while waiting and all that good stuff. Now, I've had an experience with emergency once when I was younger in Nigeria, and I know what it is like when you see people screaming for help and they're just lying flat, no assistance. So getting here and going to this hospital here, I didn't see that. Obviously, I can tell that maybe some of them might actually feel some sort of discomfort, like those who are waiting to see the doctor, to be called in to see the doctor. I saw a lot of people seated, but I didn't see anybody going through some sort of like when I say excruciating pain, you know, when you're screaming for help, when you're like restless, when you can't help yourself. I didn't see that for any of those who were seated. Yes, I saw some people with bandages. I saw some people who obviously they need help, but it wasn't that level that needed immediate attention. Meaning there was possibility that those who needed immediate attention were already being attended to at that point in time, if you get what I mean. But that didn't mean that I wasn't disappointed or unhappy. I was kind of unhappy because, you know, when you leave the house in the middle of the night around like 1 a.m., because of something that was really scary, you just hope to be able to see somebody to give you, you know, that care, like, you know, the attention that you need to be sure that everything is fine or to do the necessary tests to know what was wrong. So I just needed to put that out there. So we decided that let's go to the urgent care. We tried to find out online where an urgent care is, and we saw one at Concordia. And so there's a Concordia hospital, so they have the urgent care there. So we went there, and to be sincere, it was a bit more less crowded than the emergency clinic. It was a bit less crowded, and it just had this very chilled vibe compared to the emergency. So I was even asked for my health card, and I went to sit down and I waited, and almost immediately I was called, and the person told me, okay, so what's the problem? I told her the problem, and she was like, we have a 10-hour waiting period. Obviously, 10 hours is better than 18 hours, but I just could not picture myself waiting for 10 hours with my baby. I have my daughter at home with her aunt. You know, she was going to go to daycare the next day. I just didn't see myself waiting that period of time, knowing fully well that I wasn't feeling the pain any longer. If I was feeling the pain, I don't know if they will have asked me to wait, even in the first place. I don't know if they will have attended to me almost immediately, because the way I was feeling the pain, at some point in time, I lay down on the floor. At some point in time, I was on the floor, holding my tummy, screaming. So I don't know if the care or the attention would have been a different one compared to how I was feeling. But what I know was that at that point in time, I didn't see the need to wait for 10 hours. So she just encouraged me that if I can't wait, obviously because of my daughter, that I should go to there. So what she gave me a name of a walking clinic that actually opens early, I think 8 a.m. or so, and they attend to people like if you just walk in. So I was like, there was no need for me to even consider that because I have my family doctor very close by. So I was like, I'll just book an appointment. Hopefully, I don't feel the pain before the time that is being set for me to see the doctor. And Alhamdulillah, I didn't feel the pain. I went to see my doctor. I explained everything to him, and he was like, you should have. When I told him that I stopped feeling the pain on my way to the hospital, he was like, I should have still gone. And I told him I did, but the waiting hour was so long that I was encouraged to kind of go to see my family doctor or go to a walking clinic. And he was like, well, you understand that it's possible that I didn't get that care, that immediate care, because of the fact that the pain was no longer there. So I wasn't showing any sign of emergency. And he attended to me, he asked me some questions, and he placed me on the medication I was going to use for like a couple of weeks. So those people that used to say it's only Tylenol they give you, it's only Tylenol they give you. It's either the doctor that is attending to you, or maybe you just don't have that illness that literally requires medication. I think a lot of us in Nigeria are used to any existing medication, drugs, and that shouldn't really be the case. I have had so many situations whereby I don't even think my doctor has ever prescribed Tylenol for me. I think maybe once or twice. Most times I get to do tests, he gets to check me, and he prescribes like the medication that would help me, and they usually help. So it's not only Tanilol they give, but they just do not give you a medication when you don't need it, if you get. So he prescribed a medication for me and I used it. And that's just pretty much my experience, my bad experience. One it's you in an ideal situation, if the system isn't stressed, you would want to go and see a medical help or go for medical care if you're feeling pain, even the slightest discomfort. If you have so many doctors available and the infrastructures available, one would just want to go to the hospital to just get the care, even if it's just a flu. If there is something to make you feel better, you want that to be taken care of. But imagine knowing that the system is stressed, you would think twice. And subsequent times, that because I won't deny that I've actually felt that pain at other times, maybe when I've stopped using my medication, and I had to think twice. I have not gone to the emergency ever since then, because I had to think twice that this pain might actually go away. What's the point in rushing to the hospital and having to be sent back again? Not like they sent me back, don't get me wrong, but I would have to wait that long. So it's as good as just going home. And because of the first experience, we just had to keep waiting. I'll just take like paracetamol and I will wait for a period of time before the pain subsides. But we're working on doing a test to know what the reason for the pain is, and I hope it's nothing serious. So that's that about my first experience. Now for my second experience, which is the in between, it's not bad, it's also not so good. And I'll tell you why it's not bad, and I'll tell you why it's also not so good. And that's my experience with my baby Semiha. So Semiha caught a flu in December. She was about like 3 months then. She caught a serious flu. I would say she caught it from her sister, because her sister goes to daycare and she came with a flu. It was really bad. And when you're talking about a baby who is still trying to breastfeed, she needs to be able to breathe properly to do that. She needs to be able to breathe properly to sleep. Her nose will be blocked, and that time I will suck her nose with my mouth because I didn't have a good bulb suction. I ordered for another one. I got another one, but I was still not satisfied. That thing is very hard. You suction it, nothing will come out. They will be so uncomfortable. She will be crying. I have to push out that one, rinse it. See, it was very hectic. So I wasn't suctioning her properly. Even with I would use saline drop for her. I would do everything, but you will see that she was going through a lot of stress in trying to breathe, and it was affecting her feeding. God, I was always so scared. And the one that now made it worse was that she would start vomiting. She would cough. The cough would be so bad that she would vomit every single thing that she. So imagine trying to feed her and she's managing to suckle, and suddenly she starts coughing. I'll blow her. Don't vomit. Next thing, So there was a day that it was so bad, and she was really crying. I said, "Baby, let's just take her to the hospital." Like I couldn't take it anymore. So I felt, she's young, so they would definitely attend to her. So we went to the child emergency, and they got my card. They asked what was wrong, and they checked her vitals. No, they didn't really check her vitals. I think they just weighed her or something. No, they checked her temperature. Her temperature she wasn't running temperature. Alhamdulillah. And I talked about her not being able to breathe. The nurse was able to check her, and immediately she carried her and went to clear her airways. She went to suction her, and that made me so happy that even before, I didn't even know we were going to see the doctor. So she cleared her airways. My baby was able to breathe. I was able to breastfeed her at that moment. I was so happy. Then going to the clinic, I don't think they would have been able to even do that. They would just advise on what to do, because the suction they had was like a very, very big one. It was probably going to be available in only the emergency hospitals, like this big hospitals. Then we waited for the doctor, and when it was our turn, we didn't wait for up to an hour. I think at most we waited for about an hour, and we got to see the doctor. No, we didn't get to see the doctor immediately. So we went to a clinic, so we were in a very big waiting room, and they called us and we went to like a consulting, more or less like a consulting room. Then we waited. It was spacious enough for us. All of us got to sit down. Sekina, we went along with Sekina. She had already slept. She was in a stroller. It was very comfortable. Like I was able to carry Semiha. Hobby was able to sit comfortably. I was able to sit comfortably. Then after like a couple of, let me about after like 30 minutes or close to an hour, then a pediatrician came. Though she wasn't the main doctor we're supposed to see, but she was more or less like maybe like an assistant. She came. She asked questions. She checked her, and they also, I think, I'm not sure if they suctioned her again, but they checked her, and they said they were going to come back. Before they came back, we waited for about another 30 minutes again. Then they gave her like a medication, a very unique medication that I've never seen, because there's really nothing they do to treat flu. They can only help with certain symptoms like clearing of the airways, helping them breathe properly. Most That's like the best. They don't give babies cough syrup or all those things because it's not healthy for them. So I knew there was nothing they were going to do about the cough, but at least whatever it is they can try help with. So they gave her like something with a mask, like this gas mask, and there was like a gas of medication that they gave. They said it was going to help her with her airways, and it's going to like take a while for it to take effect. But I should hold it for her, and it was very. It didn't take a while. She was not uncomfortable with it, and I saw the difference after a while. After like 10 minutes, she was able to breathe properly. When they did that, they later came to suction her. Then we waited for like a couple of hours. So they kept on coming to check on her, like the nurses would come, but we never got to see the doctor until 6 a.m. in the morning. I couldn't sleep. Every other person slept, but as a mom, I couldn't sleep. Like I just dozed off a couple of times, but I couldn't sleep properly. So the doctor came. That time they've already like done some tests, and they've checked up on her at different points in time. Then she said that there's no need for her to be admitted. We should just check for the if it progresses. So they told us certain things that we should notice for us to come back. And I was hopeful and prayerful that. I was praying that it doesn't happen. So, if she's unable to breathe, if she's unable to feed, if she's not, if she's dehydrated, so all those things. Anyways, but they said so far she's okay and we should just monitor her. Now, what made it not so good was the fact that we waited for that long. Guys, these people, they are so stressed. Like the system is so stressed. I remember when we were about to leave, I wanted them to suction her one more time because I wasn't confident in me doing it when I get home. So I was like, we called the nurse that they should please help us get someone to come and suction her. And they said they were going to come. But we waited for almost like another 30 minutes. We didn't see anybody. I had to go out to see if I could just remind them in case they had forgotten. They are not forgotten. No. There was nobody on the floor. I literally heard, even when I finally saw she was like, don't worry, they're going to come to attend to you, that they were attending to somebody. Even while we were waiting, we were hearing so many noises. So they told us that there was actually an emergency. There was a baby or a child that needed more care, and everybody, like, it was all this cold blue kind of thing, so they all had to rush. And that was an experience I had when I gave birth to. There was I told you, if you watch my story, there was like the nurse that was assisting the doctor mistakenly pressed a code blue button that made doctors rush. They don't joke with the emergency. Like when they say emergency, the top level emergency that can lead to someone passing on or passing away, if you get what I mean. So that was the reason why there was a delay. But even while we were waiting, we weren't just there and nobody came. There were nurses coming, the assistant doctor was coming, so we were still getting some assistance. But it was obvious that the reason why the main doctor couldn't come was because they were very, very, very busy. They weren't just lying, gisting, wasting time or saying they, how what I'm trying to say now. But it was still not good having to spend the whole night in the hospital, but I was happy that she was still getting the care, and I left the hospital happy. I left the hospital with rest of mind. I left the hospital knowing that my baby was well cared for. She was able to breastfeed, she was able to sleep, and I knew what I needed to do. When I got home, the first thing I told my husband was, I need to get an electric suction. That was what one of the nurses told me. And I got an electric suction. Guys, that has been a lifesaver till now. That is what I use for my two babies. Whenever they have any blocked nose. It does not even take me time. I put the saline inside and I suction, and that's pretty much it. Like, it gives me joy. Anytime I use it and I see what I bring out from their nose, I'm always happy that I got it. So that's that about the not so good experience. Now, when it comes to the good, great, the amazing experience, I've shared a lot of that. So I'm not going to like waste time on that. I've shared about my labor and delivery story. You guys watched the vlog and I've said my story, and you guys saw that I got the best, the perfect care anyone could get. And this is me not paying for it. Um, and there are other ones, I've had moments where I'm not feeling fine. See, if you don't even have a family doctor, you can walk in. I've had moments that for one reason I want to see a doctor, or maybe I don't know, Sha, maybe want to see a doctor, or we want to do certain things and we're unable to do it. You can just walk into other clinics, even if your family doctor is unavailable, maybe he has gone on vacation, or maybe the booking is just too filled. You can go to another walking clinic that same day, and they would have space for you that same day, most likely. So, and I've been able to go to my doctor. Sometimes I've called to see my doctor that same day, and they will book me that same day. Same for myself, same for my daughter Sekina, or for anyone that is not feeling fine. They are very caring. My doctor does not joke with me. If I complain about something, he doesn't just say, "Oh, do this." Mm-mm. If I need to run a test, he would run a test for me. When I had serious sore throat, he ran strep test for me. When I had it again, he still ran the test for me, and he told me because I'm breastfeeding, he didn't want me to have to use medication. Maybe my daughter and my husband should come and check if they have, so that if they have, they will get treated and they will not keep giving it to me, because my immune system is compromised. I'm breastfeeding, so it compromises, or it has compromised my immunity. They're very caring. They don't joke with health. Like, they don't, the ones that are available to care for you, they don't joke with your health, based on my own experience. And then again, another amazing aspect is the test. See, guys, I've run series of tests. I know how testing is very expensive in Nigeria, but here it's free of charge. All the mandatory tests you need to do is free. I've not had to pay one dime to do any of these tests. And I've done full body checkup. I've done so many tests. I've done so many things. It's just an amazing experience when it comes to the other aspect of the care that doesn't have to do with emergency. Every other aspect where you are not in a hurry to get the care. I've not had any complaint, not one single complaint. Yes, a little bit of glitch. Maybe sometimes I want to see the doctor today, and unfortunately, they are overbooked and I have to wait till a couple of days. It's understandable. My doctor once told me when I needed to see him, he told me that they're meant to see 30 patients per day, but they see 50 patients. That's 20 more patients that they're supposed to see. That can be very draining. And each patient will want to get the attention that they deserve. Do you get? You wouldn't want to be rushed. So don't expect them to rush another person. So I'm not that kind of person that goes to see the doctor and have to wait like an hour or two and I complain. I don't complain. I just keep myself engaged, because I know that the doctor is actually caring for somebody else. And when it's my turn, I will also want him to care for me. And that's just that about the system. Now, what's my take about the whole healthcare system? Because people have said a lot. I would say the healthcare system can improve. There's room for improvement. And I know where the room for improvement lies. It's in the workers, it's in the practitioners, in the nurses, in the doctors, even in the pharmacies. See, they need healthcare practitioners in all fields. Unfortunately, I don't think they are willing or they are ready to compromise on their standards. So you see influx of doctors, influx of nurses, influx of different healthcare practitioners, but they're unable to get their licensing done as quickly as possible, unlike in other countries. They're unable to get their exams done as quickly as possible. They said that the process is so complex, so tedious. It takes them years, especially coming from countries like Nigeria. It takes them years before they get it done. I think they need to improve on it. Now, I've heard that the healthcare process is not a federal government thing. It's a state government thing. Because I know of a province, a friend of mine has told me of a province where her husband came in as a nurse. And the process for him to get licensed as a nurse did not take time. He was able to get licensed as quickly he was able to do the exam as quickly as possible and is practicing there as a nurse. So I think these provinces, they need to do better. The federal government and the province, they need to do better to make the licensing process faster, easier for doctors, because there are lots of brilliant doctors, lots of brilliant nurses and other healthcare practitioners across the world, from Nigeria and other countries, that can do these things, that can be available. See, there are plenty. But unfortunately, they are not able to just get into these fields, and it really frustrates them. Sometimes they go to other countries, and sometimes they just do other jobs that they don't want to do. So I feel that needs to be worked on. Like, that is where the problem lies. There are more people that need care, and there are less doctors available. There are less nurses available. But aside from that, I feel, and maybe they can improve on the infrastructures, but I feel they have enough infrastructures. Me coming from Nigeria, this is me coming from Nigeria, they have more infrastructures than I've been exposed to. And this is me that I've tested the system, I've experienced the system. They have more infrastructures. And now, when it comes to the emergency, I know that I didn't get the care that I want, but I've heard of cases, and these are very close cases that I know of people that it has happened to, where they needed immediate care and they got it. Where their doctors will call that this person needs to be attended to now, and when the person got to the hospital, they got attended to immediately. So that goes to show that regardless of how stressed the system is, they will still attend to you according to priority. If you really need immediate care, they would access you and they're going to care for you immediately. I experienced that when I was about to give birth. I was treated like, Lord of mercy, like a princess. They did not joke with me. And my friend Sadatu also said the same thing. And when our son broke his leg or something and he needed to see the doctor, when they got there, they saw people that needed more care than their son. That was the reason why they didn't prioritize their son. So at the end of the day, they still have created a system that would work and they'll be able to care for their patients. So I feel that's the area they need to work on. Then the other areas that need to be worked on, I feel, in getting family doctors, because a lot of people want to get family doctors that would have their record and you can always keep going back to them. But apart from that, even if you don't have a family doctor, you can actually meet doctors that can still care for you, that can still tell you to do all the tests you need to do, that can still do all the checkups. They just will not like take you on as their own patient, if you get what I mean. And that's not so bad. It's not like everybody has family doctors back home in Nigeria. I didn't have a family doctor. Yes, some people might have, but I didn't have, and I still needed to get it didn't kill me, not like anything happened because I didn't have a family doctor, if you get what I mean. So I feel a lot of us still, we need to tone it down when it comes to our expectations. Know that Canada is not heaven. They're bringing in skilled workers because they need their economy to grow better. They need their economy to be sustainable. They also need help in their economy. That's why they are bringing in people. Yes, they have a long way to go. They have to work on certain things when in regards to their programming and how they cater for people they are bringing in. But they're still working on it, and I hope it gets better. But we need to tone down our expectations. We need to learn to be patient. Some people call the emergency for things that doesn't really need emergency. That's just the truth. And they complain, they say a lot of things. Some people just roll with any news they hear. They hear someone say something, oh, the healthcare is bad, oh, the emergency, people just go and they pay, and they roll with that experience. They will be with that information without doing their own research, without doing their own personal findings. I know of some people that will go to the hospital and they have to wait a couple of minutes, a couple of hours to see the doctor, and they start complaining. Like, if nothing is wrong with you, most times if you have to wait, if you have an appointment, you know that you have to clear your schedule for a period of time. If they say the appointment is for 2 p.m., it doesn't mean the doctor will be available 2 p.m. He's not a robot. You might be attending to a patient and that patient probably needs more attention, maybe 30 minutes into your time. It doesn't matter. You also want the doctor to attend to you, so why not just be patient, if you get what I mean? So we just need to change our mindset. We need to learn to be patient, and we need to also pray that we don't fall sick. Like, at the end of the day, that's the most important thing, that we pray we don't fall sick. And that's just all I have to share. I've shared my experience. I hope you guys have learned a bit from it. The system can improve, but it's not so bad. It's not so bad. And that's that about that. I hope you guys learned one or two things from what I shared. I hope you guys just let me know what your take is, what your experience is, what experience you've had from the healthcare system in Canada. This is my own personal experience. It definitely might be different or will be different from yours, and it's okay. We all have different vantage points, we all have different perspective to life or about life, and it's okay. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. As always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Don't forget to turn on the post notification bell so that whenever I upload new videos, you'll be the first one to know about it. Till next time, make sure you stay safe, take good care of yourself. Bye bye.